I cut a dog. All dog groomers cut dogs. Let's talk about it, what you should do, and how to handle it. Hey guys, my name is Savannah. I am the owner and operator of Pause and Relax Mobile Pet Grooming and Reiki Services. I help pet groomers and pet lovers increase their income by helping them start and grow their businesses. Today we are going to talk about when you cut a dog. Sitting on the acreage today, just in the van. Our snow is melting, it's nice and sunny, and I wanted to be transparent with you guys in this video and tell you that even experienced pet groomers cut dogs, and I cut one the other day. If you ask a pet groomer if they have ever cut a dog and they tell you no, they either haven't been grooming long enough or they're lying. We use sharp tools on moving objects, and I feel like it is just inevitable to happen at some point. I will say I have not cut a dog in a long time, so I almost didn't even know what to do. I reached out to a Facebook group, which I'll get to in a second. And the reason why I think I haven't cut a dog in a while is because I've gone so long having set clientele, hardly ever taking on new clients unless a family I already groom for adds another pet to their household. I think that's why I haven't cut any animals, because most of the dogs are on regular schedules, so I'm not doing matted dogs where there's risk there. Also, I know what to expect from my regular client. Don't like nails done, might snap at me. I know all their quirks and that sort of thing. So I feel like when you are doing new clients, taking on new dogs, there is that extra level of risk of cutting them because you just don't know what to expect. And so how this happened, it actually was my parents' dog, Maggie. She is a little, I believe she's a poodle shih tzu cross. This was her second groom, and this is very common with puppies. Her first groom, we were able to leave her nice and fluffy. I do like to try to keep puppies in their long, fluffy coat for as long as possible, but especially with those poodle mixes, that like very fine, soft, fuzzy fur, mat's very easy. So you have to be very on top of it. So Maggie was booked in for her second groom, and me and the girls got strep throat, and then I also got mono. And if anyone's ever had mono before, I hope you haven't, and I hope you don't get it, but it was awful. I thought I was in, I thought I was pregnant because it was like first trimester exhausted. And then we did the blood test for mono, it was positive. It was a whole thing. So basically, a lot of, I don't even know what month it was. It was a lot of reschedules of dogs. So Maggie got behind. And by the time I was able to groom Maggie, she was matted. And with any puppy, especially those poodle crosses, but any puppy, you have to kind of play around with what is ideal coat length for how often you want them to be groomed and how often they do need to be groomed. And let me tell you, that little girl's skin is like cat skin. If you are a pet groomer, you know what I'm talking about. Even pulling her skin tight and taut like you need to shave out mats, it was very difficult. And interestingly enough, I started documenting her groom to show people what matting looks like and how, especially on those Doodle kind of breeds, it can look like they're not matted on top, but they're actually matted underneath. And today I want to show you, if you don't already know, how a dog can look fluffy but actually be matted. But when you reveal what is going on underneath, you can see all these tangles and knots close to the skin. And this is what prevents us from keeping them fluffy when we groom your dog. So those clips turned into an interesting turn of events when I cut her right here. So this quick little video has taken a turn, and I'm going to document it just to be transparent and show that this happens to even experienced groomers. We've got a little, just kind of like a layer of skin. She doesn't seem to notice it, didn't yelp or anything when it happened. Ugh, I hate when this happens, but this is the reality of working with moving targets. But we'll keep slowly going and I'll keep you guys updated. My mom and I have discussed this, and she has been putting on weight since, but she's also a little bit on the skinny side because she has tummy issues and it took a long time to figure out her food. And that is a commonplace that's already hard to get in with matting sometimes. And with her being skinny didn't help things. Her cat-like skin didn't help things. And then also she had a very small nick in an armpit, which is another like problem area for matting. I have cut a dog very similar to this before. It was a tiny little Maltese, very thick matting and very thin skin, and same kind of thing where like the first kind of like layer of skin kind of just gets cut. And let me tell you, no matter how long you've been grooming, no matter that it was my parents' dogs and I knew they'd understand, and I've never cut their dogs before, and they know that I take my time and all that jazz, no matter all of those factors, I still felt horrible. You get that feeling where like your throat is in your gut, and I felt so bad. So when it happens to you, know that you're not a horrible person, and no matter what the owners might say to you, if they're mean, you did your best, especially if it's because of a matted pet. When this happened, I was like, oh crap, do I even have anything in the van or at home to like clean this? So I was like, you know what? I really want to know what other groomers' go-to method for cleaning a wound in the salon, a minor wound, obviously, and what they tell people for aftercare. I was like, I want to connect with my other groomers, know what the best method is, and then be able to pass it on to you guys and also my parents and any future clients that I have. So I posted in a grooming group. Those grooming groups are dangerous. You got to pick the right ones. And I made this post specifically. I made my name anonymous because there are people that come after you in those groups. And that is exactly what happened. Some person replied back. I'm going to be blocking out names because I'm not here to call anybody out, but it's just a good example of what I'm talking about. But some person commented back, and I forget exactly how it was worded. I'll pop it up. But they were like, how do you accidentally cut a dog if you're watching what you're doing? And it's like, dude, I didn't tell you the backstory. I didn't tell you how it happened. She was very matted. I zigged, she zagged. I'm just asking for some feedback. It's a minor cut, okay? So that was very frustrating, eye-opening. This is why I hardly ever post in those grooming groups, or I'm very choosy about the ones I post in and join. So that was fun. No real like solid replies on that. So in the comments below, help me out. Help your fellow groomers out. What do you clean minor cuts, nicks, burns with in your salon, and what do you tell the owners for aftercare? Let's all help each other out.
And now, a quick message from our sponsor, me.
Hello, aspiring and current pet groomers. I made a completely free interactive workbook that helps you break your fear of starting your dream pet grooming business. It is going to help you overcome the obstacles of self-doubt and not having enough time and money to start. If this interests you, comment down below or send me a DM, and I would love to send you my link to this free workbook that is the crucial first 3 steps to starting your business.
You can find the link to my workbook down below in the description. Now, back to the video.
What I do want to cover in this video is the steps that you can take when this does happen and how I deal with it. First of all, do you give a discount? If it's because the dog is that matted, do not give a discount. Do not. Especially, this is all just going off of it being like a minor injury. But if it's because of matting, no. No, it's because the dog is matted. Matting should take longer to take off of the dog because you have to go slow to try not to cut them. So that is usually why there is an extra charge for matting. Whatever you feel is appropriate for that extra time that you're spending. So no, I would not discount the groom. If they are going to cause a fuss, then fine, you could discount it. You could say, you know what, I'll take off that extra dematting fee, but you're going to pay your normal price. Because if you still performed the entire service, you should be paid for that time. If this happens on a dog that is not matted and the dog takes you the usual amount of time, you could give a small discount. If the dog requires medical care afterwards and they are going to send you the vet bill and it is legitimate, the dog needed stitches, it is related to whatever happened in your salon, I would suggest just covering it. It'll make you look good as a business owner. They'll most likely come back. And if you have insurance, your insurance should cover those type of things. Next, how you go about telling the clients what happened. I personally like to wait, once again, if it's minor, until pick up to tell them so that you can bring out their dog, show them their dog, show them that their dog is fine, happy, is fully groomed, that whole thing, and then be like, oh, by the way, I accidentally cut them, express that how horrible you feel that these things happen. They are moving targets with sharp objects. I zigged, he zagged thing is helpful. If it's due to matting, educate your clients as to how matting works and how it's hard to see underneath the matting sometimes. Perhaps you nicked a mole, that sort of thing. So be very transparent, but I like to show the owners their pets beforehand, before telling them, instead of texting them or calling them and being like, oh, I cut your dog. And to an owner that's not a groomer, they don't know what a cut means. They don't know if it's this huge gash. They don't know if it's just a little thing. So yes, if it's minor, I like them to see the pet first. If it is more major and a pet for any reason needs veterinary care, reach out to the clients immediately and ask, like, do you want me to drive them to the vet or would you like to pick them up right away? And in my grooming career, I have had instances where, well, one that I can think of for sure that did, like, it was a paw pad that just kept bleeding and bleeding and bleeding and bleeding, and he did have to go to the vet. I worked for somebody at that time, so they ended up covering that vet bill. It was because I was a newbie groomer, didn't know this yet, but my scissors were on the table. The dog stepped on the scissors, and my scissor blade just, on his paw pad. I just wanted to be transparent with you guys. If you're new or experienced, you are going to cut a dog at some point in your career. And it's okay. These things happen. Share your stories down below. Tell me how you deal with these things in your salon so we can help each other out. And I hope you guys have a beautiful day. See you in my next one, guys.